Welcome to the stream. Gonna play some Voice of Cards game.
Ah, I bid you welcome. I shall be your game master for this tale. It is a pleasure to have you. Now then, just like this, I will be using cards to draw you into the world of this story.
Claiming himself to be a great hero has embarked on a journey to slay the dragon.
From time to time, you may be presented with choices like this.
And we gotta go left.
That's correct. It doesn't mean anything,
Hell
but
yeah.
still, good job. You're following along with all this, I trust? Moving on, I believe your experience of the story will be shaped in no small part by my narration. As such, I hope you'll have rather more fun keeping the sound on while you play. That said, rest assured that the game remains enjoyable without sound. My words will be subtitled just as they are now.
Display subtitles. Display subtitles.
With the formalities sorted, we're all ready to begin the game. My. Yeah, you can hear the sound of the waves. Oh, how very evocative. Now then, let's begin our tale. Allow me to welcome you to the world of Voice of Cards. You're about to step into the shoes of the hero of this tale as he sets forth on a grand adventure.
Alright.
Said adventure takes place in a remote part of the sea, in which ancient traditions are alive and well. You will touch the hearts of many who dwell in this place as you journey to change fate's promise of untold ruin.
That sounds a little scary.
I believe in you. I believe your journey will be a success. And on that note, it is time for that journey to begin. May the waves see you safely across the tides. Our story begins in a secluded grotto. The sound of the waves echoes softly across the rock walls. A solitary young man stands in front of a ship floating in the water. Brush in hand, he busies himself painting the vessel. Once he finishes his work, he decides to carve his name into the side of the hull. A finishing touch.
Should write its name. Baron. Thanks, bro. Sure is.
You carve your name in small lettering into the ship. Oh, a handsome name, that.
Thank you.
This young lad is the hero of our tale, and your window into the world. You're a navigator without a ship, and your soul yearns to set out upon the ocean blue for your own reasons. You have spent a great deal of time repairing the wrecked ship before you, in the hopes of crafting a partner, aboard which you might sail the high seas. The sound of a wooden box tumbling to the ground rips through the grotto. You heave a deep sigh and decide to head over to the source of the racket.
Who made that noise?
You need to head over to the source of the noise, so you turn back around.
Okay. What if I leave? See you later.
The source of the noise turns out to be a young girl. It looks as though she has knocked over a wooden box, packed with shipbuilding supplies, and is in quite a panic about it. The girl's name is Laddie. You came across her some time ago, collapsed on a beach. You attempted to bring her to a nearby village, but she was quite opposed to the idea for some reason. As such, she has been helping you repair the ship here. You're not quite sure how to respond to her knocking the box over.
Exasperation. Peek, peek.
It's okay, you say in a gentle, reassuring tone. Laddie's worried expression melts away, replaced by one of relief. You move to leave the
Doesn't
grotto,
pretty relieved at me.
saying, I'm going to the village to get some food. Laddie waves goodbye, her forlorn smile seeing you off. The young woman has lost her ability to speak. Neither of you have any knowledge of how she ended up in her situation, and you spend many quiet hours together in the grotto. The scent of the sea and a sense of isolation hang heavy in the air. The island is bound for ruin and has had its name since before any can really recall. This is Omega Isle. You take a deep breath and then set out for the nearby Omega Village, which shares the island's name.
Oh, right, it's circled events. It's gonna mess me up a little. Alright, to the village.
An old spire stands tall before you. Alas, there's little reason to go poking around within. You have arrived near the entrance of the village. You spy a shadow skulking about in the midst of a thicket. The shadows fall away to reveal a small monster. It's unusual to see one this close to the village. It might be cute, but it's still a monster and a threat. You must slay the beast before it can cause trouble or worse in the village.
Do I have to? He's just a little guy.
Don't hold back.
His eyes are buffering symbols. It's them.
gorgeous flower beds burst with blossoms that will one day wilt and wither away, much like Omega Village itself. This is a village that has accepted its fate to be but a moment in time, destined to fade.
For the bear. Okey-dokey.
An island in want of a maiden shall fall, he mutters, to no one in particular.
Age Van's flip side story.
Home sweet home. This is no time for a nap. You turn around and walk out the door. This might be the last time I see this flower bed, the boy says, gazing forlornly at the flowers.
Man.
I wish I got to be the maiden, the girl says mournfully, dressed head to toe in maiden garb and clearly pretending to be such. A lone woman diligently cleans the grounds of the maiden shrine.
Man.
The windows are closed, and it's too dark to see much inside. All sound seems to fall away.
Alright. Is everyone here?
You stop in at the mayor's house and discover that he already has a guest. The two are engaged in discussion. You listen in and learn that they are troubled by monsters that have appeared near the village and have been devouring precious stores of food. The villager sighs deeply. I suppose it's about the end for the village, they say flatly before departing the mayor's home. The man left standing in the room has a certain sagacity about him. He notices you waiting and inclines his head in greeting. His name is Grief. As the village's mayor, he spends his days dealing with all manner of happenings around town. He looks to be at a loss over the damage being caused by the monsters. It would likely be a simple matter for you to deal with the beasts. You offer to deal with the monsters in exchange for some food, and Grief replies with his thanks. You're always a big help. This is part of your daily routine. You work to sort out the village's troubles in order to procure food to eat. How may I help you? The proprietor inquires.
Alright, never mind. 2-4.
Will that be all? The proprietor asks. A monster has appeared before you. It holds what's left of a piece of fruit in its teeth, and its mouth moves restlessly. With a sigh, you mutter, "Let's get this over with then," and ready your weapon. Show 'em what you got.
Trust. Not a fight for ages, I would say it like that.
With practiced skill, you swing your weapon. The blade flashes through the monster's throat. Merciless. Perfect aim. It would appear that you are quite accustomed to killing. You wipe the blood off your weapon. As you do, you notice a shadow in the distance. Another monster, perhaps?
Throw weapon.
You take the weapon on your back and aim it carefully before hurling it at the shadow with great force. It flies toward your target, tracing a perfect parabola. However, the tip of the spear strikes just slightly to the side of the shadow, which runs off. Whatever the shadow was, it was taken aback by your unexpected assault. It looks like it ran off in the direction of the spire near the village. You stand before the Spirit Spire, said to have been erected to protect the island. Yet with the villagers having accepted ruination, it now stands forlorn, an edifice without a purpose. This place, so named for the spirits themselves, is one that the villagers do not enter. Despite this, you say to yourself, I have to get rid of the monster, and decide to profane the place with your presence. There are some words etched into the door, but they are weathered and difficult to read. Worried though you are about whatever the words might say, you nonetheless try pushing the handle. With some protest, the door groans open. You spy the shadow of the monster you encountered earlier. Your insight that it had taken refuge in the spire has proven a good one. The shadow notices your presence and flies off at blinding speed. You can't help but admire the rapid escape, though it looks like you're back to chasing after a shadow.
Looking around. Nothing there. Right up here. Yeah, okay. Shadow.
You survey your surroundings, relying on the shafts of sunlight filtering in through the windows. However, you're unable to see the monster from where you are.
Save loading time. Oops.
In the back of the large hall, there is an altar, which evinces a sense of deep mystery. The altar is wrought of a strange kind of stone, its surface polished smooth. It looks as though it's meant for use in some important ritual. You approach the altar to check that there are no places for monsters to hide themselves away inside it. A sudden and unidentifiable voice rings out. You draw your weapon, unsure if it's a monster you face.
Spirit.
You strain your ears, trying to make out the broken snippets of words echoing off the chamber walls.
Laddie.
After speaking a word that rings familiar to your ears, Laddie, the voice becomes impossible to hear. It cannot be. Could you truly have heard the voice of the spirit from the Maiden's myth passed down on the island? All signs of the monster you were in pursuit of seem to have vanished. For the time being, you decide to return to the village and report your success.
Enemy appears. What window and dart.
You did great. arrive at the mayor's house. There is a young visitor already there. She looks to be making an impassioned request of Grieth. In a wearied voice, Grieth replies, "There is no longer any maiden in our village." Admonished, the girl leaves the house with disappointment written across her expression. You inform the mayor that you've taken care of the monsters around town. As thanks for completing the job, the mayor hands you a basket of fruit. Oh, good, you think to yourself. Another day, another basket of fruit.
Take off now. Oh no. No longer in this world to tell her otherwise. So he was a man. Forsook the island while I used to live here. I don't know, so that's fine with me. I'm used to being alone. Gave up this home island yearning to see the outside world, but so traumatic was the seasickness. Swore never to board their boat. He'd really like to go home if he could. Oh, damn. That's it for now. Okay, that's helpful.
You re-enter the grotto and announce your return. On a normal day, Laddie would already have zipped over to greet you. But today, nothing.
What's up?
You walk over to Laddie and discover that she is sound asleep. Life in the grotto is not one of creature comforts. Rather, a fair few inconveniences. You've tried several times to bring Laddie to the village, but she was adamantly opposed on every occasion. You sometimes catch glimpses of her face while she sleeps. Always it is contorted in anguish, as though she is in the throes of a terrible nightmare. You notice a bulky book lying open next to Laddie, filled with carefully drawn words and images. It seems to be some kind of picture book that Laddie made herself. You know, I confess, I am a bit curious.
Later, don't insert your bias into the story, thank you. Nah.
You can't help but feel like you ought to refrain. But in the end, you cannot
Damn,
overcome your
the illusion
curiosity
of free choice.
and decide to take a look at the picture book. Beside evocative images of deep forests and towering mountain ranges, Laddie has written a story patterned after the Maiden's myth. The picture book story is set in a small village replete with nature. The village enjoys the promise of peace and tranquility, thanks to the young woman born to be the Maiden. The Maiden goes before the altar to perform a ritual, which invokes the power of a great spirit to protect the village. You look over the artwork, a spitting recreation of the altar you saw in the spire, and think back on the mysterious voice. The voice claimed it was a spirit, and you're certain it spoke Laddie's name. You were so caught up in the thoughts racing through your head that you failed to notice Laddie had awakened. Laddie seems embarrassed that you've seen her book. Tears prick the corners of her eyes. If Laddie were indeed the Maiden, it would be no exaggeration to call her the very light of hope, a protective force that could save the island from its encroaching ruin. With faint expectation tightening your chest, you consider taking her to the altar in the spire.
Laddie again. Boom.
You've given Laddie some of the fruit you brought back. She dreamily stuffs some of it into her mouth. Maybe she likes it. You hope so. Your stomach rumbles as you watch her, and together, the two of you enjoy a light meal. You take Laddie with you and return to the spire. As you approach the entrance of the spire, the staff that Laddie clutches close begins to emit a faint light. Seeing the mysterious light, you are convinced Laddie has a deep connection to the spire. Her expression uneasy. Laddie takes hold of your sleeve with a tentative touch. You stand before the altar once more, bathed in an air of mysticism. The light emitting from Laddie's staff intensifies, as if indicating its destination.
The Maiden.
In response to the enigmatic voice, Laddie's staff exudes a dazzling light. A spirit appears right before your eyes. Well, maybe it's a spirit? It's some kind of strange stuffed animal. The stuffed toy seems to be affecting a voice of considerable gravitas and choking itself in the process. This creature is called Lack. Though you cannot be certain it speaks the truth, it claims to be a spirit. You approach, hoping to ask about the Maiden. But with blinding speed, Lack zooms behind Laddie, putting her between you as a shield. You're the one from before, Lack says, quaking. It would appear that you're mistaking the creature for a monster, and doggedly chasing after it has made it rather afraid of you.
Darn. God.
You hold out an offer of reconciliation, and Lack takes it and immediately starts munching away. Between bites, it says, "You've got some good taste there." You're not really sure if the make good worked out, but in any event, Lack looks willing to listen to you now. You ask about the maiden once more, and Lack begins to talk a lot. It seems to enjoy doing so. Just as the maiden's myth handed down amongst the denizens of the island suggests, it explains, Laddie was indeed born to be the maiden here. However, she was unable to take up her role. This has caused no small amount of distress over the island's inevitable destiny to sink beneath the raging waves. Lack concludes with a proposal. How's about you go and meet with the other maidens and fetch the maiden's relics?
What?
As you had hoped, Laddie appears to be the key to the island's salvation. If Laddie becomes a maiden and performs the maiden's ritual at the altar, the island can be saved. This island is not the only one home to a spirit. There are islands throughout this archipelago, and upon each dwells one of the 4 maidens who govern their own spirit. The self-proclaimed spirit explains that if you bring the maiden's relics that each of these maidens possess back to this spire, Laddie will be able to become a maiden herself. Laddie shows the staff in her hand, wearing an expression that seems to say, "This is a maiden's relic." You ask, should we kill the maidens and steal the relics? Laddie shakes her head rapidly, as if to insist that you definitely should not do that. As Lack explains, each maiden has an attendant, an escort, and protector. This would make it difficult to take the relics by brute force. The world-changing immensity of what you have just learned echoes in your mind. It takes you a little while to fully digest it, but it does just so happen you've been readying a seaworthy vessel for your own purposes. You accept Lack's proposal to help Laddie become a maiden. So, you want me to poof you back to the entrance?
Sure.
You decide to make for the spire's exit. Accompanied by your new allies, you make to enter the village. But Laddie seems to find something about this idea disagreeable and clings to a tree nearby, refusing to budge. "Oh, I got this one," says Lack, evidently with some kind of plan in mind. The fluffy creature begins to chant a sort of mysterious spell. Suddenly, Laddie's face is transformed into that of an odd old man's. Laddie touches her transformed visage and then gives a thumbs up, perhaps as if to say, "Good job. You are a god." But Laddie looks sideways at you as she walks into the village, her identity now safely hidden.
Oh, it's not on the menu. Sad.
This is your home. A desk pushed up near the wall is adorned with an unfurled map and a scattering of books. The navigation map is of your own design and depicts the various islands in this region of the sea. It contains information on the maidens of those nearby islands, culled meticulously from books and the tales of passing travelers. Before all of this, you had found yourself unable to merely sit and watch the village's decline, and so planned a voyage to seek aid from the maidens of the other islands. After popping into the back room, you emerge with a carefully polished ship's wheel and present it to your companions. It is the final piece of the ship you restored at the grotto. With it, you will finally be able to set sail on the voyage you have dreamed of for so long. You have made ready for the voyage, but before you set sail, you decide to stop in at the mayor's to say your farewells.
See if I can buy any weapons. Better than what I have.
Grieth's eyes fall over the unfamiliar face behind you. And who do we have here? At your quick response, Grieth blinks a few times in confusion. His eyes dart back and forth between the pair of you, as though his brain is putting together the pieces of a complex puzzle. At length, he offers a deep nod. You'll need to clear up the misunderstanding later. Changing the subject, you explain to the mayor that you'll be leaving the village for a little while on a voyage to save the island. You felt sure that the mayor, with his love of the village, would see you off with a smile. And yet the moment you explain that you found a maiden who can save the island, his attitude changes like the fickle sea winds, and he voices opposition to your journey. This island is destined to meet its end, he says. You can practically sense him digging his feet in. You cannot fathom why he, the mayor of the village, would believe something like that. Though each of you hold the island in your hearts, you cannot reconcile the difference of opinion. Like lovers going their separate ways after an acrimonious spat, it looks as though you will be setting out on bad terms. You believe that your desire to save the island will prove to be the right perspective. Your ship, your trusted companion. Once a mere wrecked husk that you labored to bring back to life with months of sweat and toil. You climb up to the stern, and with every bit of care you can muster, you attach the wheel. The final stroke upon the canvas. At last, your ship is finished. The vessel's design is patterned after a great whale. There are a number of mismatched parts, but that particular quirk only makes you love it all the more. As you look over your handiwork, you realize that your companion on this upcoming journey will need a name. What would a fitting name be, you ponder? Laddie tears a page from her book and then scribbles a name down on it. In her small handwriting is written, the Bon Vent. According to Lack, the words are a kind of prayer in the language of the spirits for safe passage when bidding one farewell on a long journey. A farewell said before long journeys. The words could make a fitting appellation for your ship. You're unsure of just how much you ought to trust Lack or his skill with words, but nonetheless, decide to go with Laddie's suggestion. Together, you load up the Bon Vent with the necessary provisions. Preparations for your departure are now finished. You throw your hands upon the ship's wheel and shout, "Weigh anchor!" with gusto. Your voyage has begun. Though your ship had long since forgotten the taste of seawater, it nonetheless cuts through the waves like a fillet knife through fresh fish. It is your first sea voyage. Laddie's eyes glitter as she looks out at the horizon, stretching ever onward over the endless blue expanse. She opens up your homemade navigation map, checking the locations of the islands where the other maidens live. On the island to the south of here lives a beauteous maiden garbed in azure robes, as though the sky itself is wrapped around her. After closing up the map, you grasp the wheel like a familiar old friend and tell the ship where you'd like to go. You now have free rein to sail across the sea as you see fit. New tales await you when you put into port on an island where a maiden dwells.
Free generation.
Ahoy, matey. It's like...
It's like what? Finish your sentence.
Don't hold back.
Makes sense. Order one oven at a time. New oven replaces old one. Got it. Ringtone of what noise? Where's the island?
Oh, excuse me. You can't go into an island while you're still on your ship, okay? You cross the sea and arrive at the South Isle. On the South Isle, you will hear the tale of a maiden in blue. Very well then. Prepare to go ashore.
I don't know if you can do these out of order, but makes sense to start with this one.
Bright rays of sunlight beam down onto the warm South Isle. Something about the place reminds you of the refreshing cool of the ocean. After weighing anchor and docking your ship at the pier, you go ashore. Utterly exhausted from hours at the helm, you stretch your legs for a moment, then open up your map. Once you have your heading, you and the others make for the village of Coveton in the south. Okay, now let's go.
What's that? Remember you guys. Get his ass.
Magnificent. This must be a stela of the Isle's guardian spirit. You come across an open-air stall. A sign reads, "Huge sale." As you peer into the stall, a merchant whirls around to greet you. He explains that everything is on sale, and he hopes you'll buy something. It seems he'll get in trouble with his boss if he brings back any goods unsold.
Should be good for a while with it.
The peddler is closing up the stall to head back to his boss. "See you another time," he says. "You cannot shop here anymore."
Okay.
Okay, hold up. You have to return.
Unshakable. Looks good.
So hot, you grumble, as you use your shirt to fan yourself. Wondering how Laddie is holding up, you turn and see her squeezing a blue ball of fluff tightly. She begins to rub her cheek against it. From the elated look in her eyes, you can only guess how cooling it must feel. But the sight sends shivers down your spine. "Laddie, that's a monster!" you shout, readying your weapon. Don't hold back.
Is that it?
The village floats in the center of a cove. The gentle lapping of waves fills the air. Coveton seems like a peaceful place, far removed from conflict. As you enter the village, you're greeted by an unusual sight. A paper doll flitters about like a bird above a man's hand. The man sees your curious gazes and explains that he animates it with a magic charm. He claims that all the villagers use such spells to enrich their lives. At your straightforward question, the man appears to be at a loss for words. "Now, where could she be?" he murmurs. Though the maiden isn't here now, you know for certain that one lives in the village. You thank the man, then resume your search for the maiden. The village gets so lively when the maiden is here, the man mutters, his brow furrowed with worry. The old woman stares intently into a crystal ball. "Not ready to show me, are you?" she mumbles at it. She tells you she first used magic when she divined who she would marry, nigh on 50 years ago. You can't help but admire her dedication to the craft. The woman sighs. That maiden's gone gallivanting again today. Despite being tasked with protecting the village, it seems she has quite the infamous reputation. The man tells you the village may be renowned for its magic charms, but the tasty fish caught here aren't half bad either. face contorted in concentration, the young boy deftly folds a piece of paper into the shape of a bird. You ask him about the maiden. I saw her at the Maiden shrine, he says, as he tosses the paper bird into the air. Wonder of wonders, the paper bird flaps its wings and flies about, showing you where the Maiden shrine is.
Oh, thank you. Got a weird feeling.
At the heart of the shrine, you see a young woman and man discussing something in earnest. The woman's name is Fila. She is, without a doubt, the maiden shouldering the Isle's fate. The man's name is Hyde. He is the maiden's wise attendant. Excuse me. I need to speak with the maiden, you say, interjecting yourself into their conversation.
Your silhouette made her look like a giant crab arm or something.
Fila whirls to you and asks, "Which do you think is cuter?" Though you're baffled by the sudden and unrelated question, she doesn't miss a beat and shows you a seashell in each of her hands.
Oh, I can't see them. What?
You suppose the colors of the shell in her left hand could be considered cute and point to it. Fila's shoulders slump. I lost, she pouts at Hyde, who gives a in response. Apparently, the maiden and her attendant had wagered on which shell was cuter. You had heard about the Azure Maiden from the villagers, but now you see for yourself that she's quite the free-spirited woman. You explain to them why you've come and ask if Fila will lend you her maiden's relic. Despite knowing the circumstances, Hyde tells you that things just aren't that simple. You take a deep breath and prepare to persuade them when... I'll let you borrow it if you help me find the pirate's treasure, Fila says. She explains that there are rumors of pirate treasure hidden within the crystal cave southeast of the village. Pirates, you murmur. You think about it for a moment, but with little other choice, you agree to help. You never change, sighs Hyde. But Fila pays him no mind as she prepares to embark on the adventure.
Okay. Maybe there's some photo.
How may I help you? The proprietor inquires.
I'm still not no money. Just window shopping.
Will that be all? The proprietor asks.
Must resist the game harder.
All right. Things have taken a very lively turn, haven't they?
Don't hit me there.
Don't hold back.
So, Rainbow, Fatal Zone, Northern Cross.
Okay, hold up.
Say something else. Oh.
And fight.
One. I'm charging up.
Two fight as one.
I took one step. One. 12 points of damage. Okay, time to make a target. Scouts out healing and hurt it. That kind of thing. Take double damage. That might be the ailment
Congrats.
to inflict then.
Hope you win.
Right. Not the goblin sword.
You spy a parcel on the roadside. As you pick it up, you are enveloped in a wonderful aroma. Inspecting the parcel, you read its intended destination was Coveton. You know not its contents, but will you complete its delivery? You decide to deliver it on your way and tuck the parcel into your bag. A monster appears. Its nose is twitching as it sniffs the air, its gaze fixed on your bag. The aroma from the parcel you're carrying must have drawn it near. You'll have no choice but to fight it off. You should deliver the parcel to Coveton before it draws any other monsters.
Okay.
That maiden's gone gallivanting again today, the woman sighs, though you note a somewhat envious look on her face. Having arrived in Coveton, a woman asks you, "Are you the postman?" You shake your head no. She says she's been waiting forever at the village entrance for a delivery. Her eyes light up when you show her the parcel you picked up. That's what I've been waiting for. It seems the parcel contained an exotic perfume she ordered. But the scent of this perfume attracts monsters. Is it really safe to hand it over to her?
What she wants.
You hand her the parcel, explaining how dangerous this perfume is. But she is too overjoyed to notice your words. While dancing a jig in celebration of her long-awaited perfume, she hands you a gratuity for carrying it all this way.
It's a lot of money. Whoa.
The innkeeper's eyes light up in surprise and delight. Well, well, well. To what do I owe the honor of a visit from the son of the Fortune Tellers Alliance chairman, she asks. She clearly has you confused with someone else. But on the plus side, she is extremely happy to see you. So happy, in fact, she waives the fee for your room. The party leaves the inn feeling rested.
Alright, back here. There's the cave. And we're gonna go.
The Crystal Cave teems with the stones that give it its name. They say the intermittent echo of water droplets is the sound of more crystals forming. Your party and Fila have become fast friends on the road to the cave. Though Laddie seems somewhat nervous to finally have a female friend her age, she looks happy nonetheless. The loose-lipped Fila tells you all sorts of details about her life, including the fact that she and Hyde are lovers. Hyde seems on edge about her blasé divulgences. You give him a pat on the shoulder, quietly sympathizing with him.
Save. That's the quickest the game will let me. Go forward.
Good work.
Chest.
Fight him off. Excellent. You come across a large boulder. You aren't sure where it fell from, but some of it is submerged in the waterway and is obstructing the water's flow.
Push.
The 5 of you rally together, then push, and... the boulder sinks into the water, stopping its flow completely. It looks like you have a new path to tread now. Fila hugs Hyde in her excitement. He blushes in embarrassment and reminds her that others are watching. At their public display of affection, Laddie covers her face with her hands, but peeks at them through her fingers.
All right.
Don't hold back.
One. Skull.
Hope you win.
remember the encounter right being this high before. Explore everything. Might be treasure.
Magnificent. You did great.
Treasure, just as I have said. Was it worth it? Probably not. God, how big is this cave? So now I'm not gonna be under level. No. Die. Then the undercount. Crazy. A blizzard. Like the middle one. Another chest, woohoo!
And fight.
It's everything. Except what's over here.
And fight. Magnificent.
Yes.
Fight him off.
Right, that's it. That's all of it for real. We're going. Just gonna take a look at the options real quick. And then here, never mind. I won't do that. Alright, that's cool. Check this out. Buzzer.
Just as you're about to open the chest, Fila interjects. I didn't tell you, but they say the treasure is protected by the pirate's ghost, she admits with a tremble in her voice. Laddie's face goes pale, and she squeezes Lack in her arms. The poor thing looks like it's in pain. I'm just kidding, Fila says cheerfully. But then, who goes there? A voice echoes through the cavern. My treasure. Mine. You sense a dangerous aura in the shadow of the chest and immediately prepare for battle.
Hey, I wanna do a freeze. Yeah.
Excellent.
Damn.
Teamwork makes the dream work. After the battle, you finally reach what looks to be pirate treasure. Your hearts race in anticipation as you open the chest to find hundreds of colorful seashells filling it to the brim. The room falls quiet as everyone stares at the chest with abject dejection, realizing the stories were no more than rumor. After a long moment of sulking, you feel Laddie tug on your sleeve. She points to the rocky wall behind the chest. Upon closer inspection, you realize that there's a crevice just wide enough for a person to squeeze through. You discover a chest in the cavern depths. Your allies rummage through its contents, but don't find anything resembling pirate treasure. And fight. A droplet of water falls. Once the ripples upon the surface still, it feels as though time stops. All falls quiet. A beautiful underground lake, its waters glimmering like crystal, stretches out before you in the cave's depths. Your collective breaths are taken away as you gaze upon the dazzling sight. The lake's light reflects in Fila's eyes, and she gently takes Hyde's hand in hers. "I'm so happy we can see this together," she whispers. Though you had come to the cave in search of treasure, you found something far more precious. You returned to Coveton, basking in the afterglow of such a marvelous discovery.
Memories of friendship.
You arrive back at Coveton safe and sound. Ta-da, Fila says suddenly, pulling a crystal out of her pocket. Apparently, she took it from the cave so that Hyde could make them matching couples charms. With a sigh, her attendant agrees and says he will need to borrow the proper tools from the accessory shop. An air of gloom hangs over one corner of the village. It would seem someone has died. Asking a nearby fellow what happened, he explains a woman was attacked and killed by monsters outside the village. Talk is, the woman was wearing perfume from a foreign land that drew the monsters to her. They only discovered it after the fact, but that perfume was actually some sort of juju expressly for attracting monsters. You recall the woman to whom you delivered the parcel you picked up. I should have better warned her, you think regrettably. Laddie gently places a hand to your back. You say a prayer for the woman's repose and quietly take your leave.
Actions having consequences.
Hyde asks you to wait outside while he enters the
known.
shop. Fila strikes up a conversation with Laddie while awaiting the other's return. The endless stream of words makes you wonder when the maiden has time to breathe. All Fila seems to talk about is Hyde. Nevertheless, she seems to have found an eager listener in Laddie, who nods with an elated smile. Hyde returns, completed couples charms in hand. The crystal charms look as impressive as any you would find in a shop, but Hyde's expression is grim. Apparently, he isn't as impressed by his handiwork as the rest of you. Fila takes one of the charms with a forlorn smile. "I'll wear it to the maiden's ritual," she says quietly. Hearing the carefree woman speak of the goal of your journey, you can't help but ask for more information. Fila explains that she'll be conducting the maiden's ritual soon. You wonder if it's all right for them to be gallivanting around like this, considering how important the ritual is to protecting the island. As promised, I'll let you borrow the relic, Fila says, changing the subject. But it's far too important for me to just hand it over to you. So, we're coming with, she smiles. Though it's obvious she's just looking to have some fun, you have no choice but to accept the new term. With the Maiden's relic finally secured, you and your unexpected new allies make for the spire. Fila exclaims in excitement as she lays her eyes upon your vessel. How adorable! You grin, knowing full well that it is, and prepare for departure.
Damn right, it's adorable. It's longer than a blink of an eye, but
You arrive back on Omega Isle. It's just as you left it, quiet and still, as if awaiting its inevitable destruction. How gloomy, Fila remarks. But her softly spoken words are swept away by the sea breeze. You stand before the Maiden's altar again and ask Lack what you need to do here. Lack explains that Laddie couldn't become a maiden because of a problem in her heart. How would you even begin to solve a problem in someone's heart, you wonder, scratching your head in thought? Just as Lack begins to cast a mysterious spell. As if responding to the spell, the altar begins to glow. Now, go into the light, Lack commands. You do as you're told, having no choice but to obey the self-proclaimed spirit. When you come to, you realize that you must have fainted after being swallowed by the light. You gradually get your bearings, and your field of vision clears. You're in the Spirit Spire, or at least you're supposed to be. Something about it strikes you as strange. What happened, you ask Lack. Go outside and you'll see, it replies. Once outside, you find yourselves in the heart's domain, the birthplace of human emotions. But is it light or darkness at its core? You stand in awe of the world before you. It's entirely black, as if someone took a brush and filled it from corner to corner with dark paint. This is Laddie's heart's domain, Lack says. Lack explains that it's a dream world created by her feelings. You can't believe that this is what's inside Laddie. Sweet, kind Laddie, who wears her heart on her sleeve. Laddie's gaze falls to the floor, perhaps in shock at seeing what's inside of her. Lack points south of the spire. Whatever is eating away at her heart is in that village, it says. Since Lack seems to know the lay of the land, you decide that following its advice is for the best. Oh, this place is seriously weird, huh? A shadow suddenly appears. It gazes at you with eerie yellow eyes and is cloaked in a hostile aura. You have no choice but to fight. Two fight as one. Good work. The shadow vanishes. But you can't shake the feeling that those final words were spoken in a girl's voice. Anxietown is shaped entirely by Laddie's woes. As such, even the most beautiful blossoms in the village have their thorns. And fight. Show 'em what you got. And fight. Magnificent. You see a boy searching for something in the bushes. He tells you that he is looking for his runaway cat. He thinks the feline is hiding somewhere in the village, but seems distraught that he hasn't found it yet. You think it's a great idea, but the boy immediately shoots you down. My cat's afraid of heights, he says. Near a flower bed, he repeats, then suddenly bursts into tears. As the boy cries, you realize that what pours down his cheeks aren't tears, but what appear to be flower seeds. Okay, what in the world happened here? For reasons you can't explain, what appear to be flower seeds pour from the boy's eyes instead of tears. Hope you win. The woman sighs deeply. When you ask her what's wrong, she laments that she can't find the right words for a love letter to win a certain man's favor. How can I explain my feelings for him? She ponders aloud. The woman gives a small frown. Not quite what I had in mind, she replies. Tough crowd. Pure like flower, the woman begins, then suddenly looks nauseated. She contorts in pain as she spits something out. It's a flower bulb, one as big as your fist. The man sighs deeply. When you ask him what's wrong, he laments that he doesn't know what gift will help him win a certain woman's favor. For some reason, the man's expression immediately contorts into one of fear. Suddenly, the man lets out a pained scream and collapses. You see blood-red petals stuffed into his mouth. Something seems amiss with the village. You had best prepare yourself, for anything could happen in this mysterious realm. After speaking with the villagers, you realize they all live in fear of flowers. Perhaps there's something about the flower beds you're missing. Congrats. Beautiful flowers are in full bloom, though they seem no different than ordinary blossoms to you. The villagers obviously fear them. Laddie cautiously approaches, trembling with every step when a disquieting voice rings out just as a shockwave hits you. That's a heart scar, Lack shouts. No doubt referring to the ominous light suddenly surrounding the flower beds. It appears to be what's eating away at this world. We have to close it, Phila says. You couldn't agree more, and reach out to touch the scar. A giant shadow appears. Its yellow eyes glare at you, and you draw your weapon as if to deflect that narrowed gaze. Fight him off. Magnificent. Two fight as one. Within the shadow's final words, you sense something. Laddie was born to be a maiden and was prepared to devote herself entirely to the Isle. But her lack of aptitude for the role disappointed everyone in the village. Ever since, bitterness over her shortcomings has festered within the confines of her heart. The shadow vanishes, and you decide to try and heal the heart scar. This is the reason you brought the Azure Maiden with you to this world. The relic must be the key. Lack nods, and Fila holds the Maiden's relic up to the heart scar. You heal the heart scar, restoring the village to its proper self. Your mission fulfilled, you decide to return to the world you came from. You see other areas painted black in the distance and wonder if there may yet be other heart scars. Lack says that you'll need permission from Laddie to explore those places. Laddie looks puzzled. Apparently, not even she knows what's going on inside her heart.
Get the result. Let's get out of here for now.
It seems this altar is the bridge connecting the real world and the heart's domain. You make it safely back to the real world, but can barely wrap your heads around your surreal experience in the heart's domain. Laddie is fast asleep. You can only imagine how spiritually exhausting it must have been for her to be forced to have a change of heart like that. What an adventure, Fila exclaims, apparently thrilled to have had such a strange experience before the ritual. You thank the Azure Maiden for letting you borrow her precious relic. While doing so, you realize that Laddie will also have to do the ritual someday if she becomes a maiden. You ask Fila if it would be possible for you to attend the Maiden's ritual. She seems unsure at first, but eventually agrees to let you come. I'm back, Fila exclaims cheerfully to the unsurprised gazes of her fellow villagers. They seem well accustomed to her gallivanting off on some adventure or another. Hyde suggests that you get some rest before the ritual, so you head to the inn. That night at the inn, you get to thinking about the ritual. It's a right to protect the island, one passed down through generations of maidens. If Laddie becomes one, she'll have to do the same. Laddie, paying you no mind, gobbles down her food, occasionally choking on bread. Well, sweet dreams. Fila and Hyde await you outside the inn. They tell you that in order to conduct the ritual, they have to visit the altar where the spirit is enshrined. To do so, you must go off the southern shore of the island. A crowd of villagers gathers as your party is about to leave Coveton. A villager hands Fila a talisman, shaped like a fish. He says that it contains a spell to help you along the way to the altar, and a wish for the ritual's success. It appears the free-spirited Maiden's smile has uplifted the villagers' hearts. "Thank you for always watching over me," she says, with the same bright smile as always. When you arrive at the shore, Hyde speaks. Now we go underwater. Hyde explains that the temple where the ritual is carried out is underwater. That's why. Hyde explains that the talisman the townspeople gave them contains magic that allows you to breathe underwater. Hyde sees that you still have your doubts. "Let me show you instead," he says, then activates the magic talisman. "Come on, follow me," Fila exclaims cheerfully. She and Hyde both dive underwater without a moment's hesitation. Laddie looks at the water apprehensively, and you can see her pondering her ability to swim. Before she can drown in self-doubt, though, you take her hand and follow Fila and Hyde's lead. "Stop, we'll drown," Lack shouts, but you pay it no mind. Life seems to be one odd experience after the next lately. Though you're underwater, you can breathe. You inhale deeply, but only air fills your lungs. Laddie stares in wide-eyed wonder at the colorful coral reef and myriad fish swimming about. You find the seabed temple resting quietly at the bottom of the ocean. It's now a peaceful haven for sea creatures.
That is enough venturing for today. Stop here for now. And pick that up later. So, thank you for watching. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.